Hello guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
Here's Captain Foley, graciously beaming in to talk to us today. Thank you, Stuart.
I like beaming. Beaming is fun now. Anyway, yes, we're talking about the transporter room today, specifically the one on the USS Titan. Titan A, yeah. I was going to say Titan A, but people would think, he's Canadian. He's just saying A,
That's why I had to say it. So
exactly.
Yeah. Now, we knew this was coming in the abstract, that we'd seen a picture, but very different to see an exclusive screen grab, from Terry 9 months ago to here it is. And it's funny because they easily could have just done this off screen. We wouldn't have complained. But here we are. Start off with how we first saw it, and then we'll get a detailed shots in a moment. So here's a transporter room, the 25th century, on the relatively brand new Titan, so it reflects modern era. Although it is a mid-range ship, they say a science exploration craft, so it's not necessarily cutting edge of this or that, but it's definitely new. Thoughts?
I like the funkiness of things in the back, the way they kind of do the... It looks like they're moving or forming, like they're not, like they're in the process of doing something.
It's almost like a Moir reference as well from TOS, like somewhat.
Yeah, the Moray, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They still maintain the look, the pads of like the Enterprise D or whatever, which is a nice touch. So,
and to note, that floor is the same from Enterprise A, D, Voyager, and E. So that pad lasted, that design is the transport design from like 190 years or like 150. So just saying, it should be similar because they stayed the same.
Yeah. I also like the console. It had like a clear display kind of thing, which is cool. It's a nice transporter room, honestly. And we don't know how many this ship has. As we said in another video, probably about 4 at least at the minimum. But a lot of ships have 6 or more. So,
Yeah, you want redundancy. No, I think it's great. It's a transporter room. For realsies. And the smallest thing, I preface that way, it's the right scale. Because the Discovery and Strange World transport rooms are incredibly large. Just wasting space on a ship where they shouldn't be wasting space. This actually looks small based on the way they've shot it, because they've done wide angles and it's just the way they've chosen to shoot it.
Right.
I'm sure it's the same dimensions as the Enterprise D. That's kind of how it feels, just slightly different. But I mean, it's a functional, structural Fiend transporter room. I only have one real critique we'll get into a little bit later, apart from obviously make it brighter. Because if you have dark surfaces that suck light, I mean, yes, those panels on the side are great, but the walls are black. You can see. Why the hell would you paint walls black? You wouldn't really. I mean, a grey is fine, but I mean, part of Enterprise D's charm is that the pad bottom is a reflective black. It stands out because it's so non-colourful and then reflective. Black walls just lose you detail, colour, and definition. It makes the room look smaller if they were coloured bigger. And I've now done a lot of texturing on Voyager and the D and the E transporter room, so I've done a lot of texturing now. I know transporter rooms a bit.
Yes, absolutely.
The next shot, of course, is the full room and the back of the rooms. That is roughly the whole thing.
Exactly. And yeah, that transporter console, like I was saying, looks fantastic. Even though it's the future, you still have like the glass panel that the displays are on, as opposed to just floating holograms or whatever. I like that tactileness of it, like the limitation almost. Yes, Discovery has the same thing, with the clear, doesn't make much sense in that era, unfortunately. But this, I think, is fine as a progression from TNG. And again, the LCARs and stuff look great on that. You can see all the pads, all the little people on each, or the pads there. So it's a nice layout. I really like it.
I do get the sense it's probably a room they also designed to repurpose. If they just put a sliding door, over the transporter room, it'd still be a room, because the reverse has no specific details except wall with thing that reflects, which is fine. This is not a complaint necessarily, although again, very, very dark. And I love the console is just the bridge console, because they've, of course, I mean, they have these weird side consoles they rarely use. Just grab it, transporter room console. That's it. That's all you need. And it works. It works great with those nice LCARs. I for the most part like the accenting lights. They remind me of the Enterprise D ready room with lights in the ceiling that, well, not but the accenting the ceiling. So it reminds me of that. And again, just not sure why the dark grey walls. It's very makes me feel claustrophobic. But I do love the side grills, which are obviously a reference to the D, and then therefore the A, because it's the same set. Although I hope they're not always at red. I assume they'd be normal colours at not red alert. That'd be nice.
I would hope so, yeah. Yeah, that would make the most sense.
But the next shot, though, is a little comparison of the history, because we can see what parallels to what. Of course, the classic 1960s Constitution. And we have seen a phaser from that era, so we know they're using that canon. The Enterprise D, the Voyager, which is the same room, just more modified because it was a real budget. And then now this one. And also in time order. Thoughts?
It's great. It's great progression. I don't have any thoughts. I like the small changes to the back and the top. But yeah, the Voyager pads are the same pads. Like, even the shapes are all the same. So they haven't changed much there. So, no, I think it's fantastic.
It's funny how both the D and the Voyager look brighter, despite, now I'm looking, also the dark greys. It's interesting how there's something about it. They're obviously working rooms. Titan is a dark space. Which is then funny because TOS, the ceiling is black, so it gets lost. It's interesting how what gets what, you know?
I love that they've also maintained that there's the step there, which, if you watch our episode on the transporters, is quite important. It's not the same level as the floor for a reason. So go check that out. It's on all of them, so I love that they've maintained that. They've had that technical sense to keep that in, so that's great.
Yeah. And the orange works well, the red works well, because you can see that on the D, either side there's these grates. That's the logical distinction there. And I do like that clearly the not noir grilling is Voyager, not D. If you're looking at parallels, so they didn't go all the way back to the older one. They said, okay, this is this. Yeah, no, that's real nice. Now the one issue I have, of course, Stuart, is with the next picture, is that for some reason the top of the transporter are utilizing what appears to be new Trek Discovery / Stranger Worlds emitter things, and it's so unnecessary. Because why hurt a design? You don't need them. They don't do anything. Why just?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you go back to the last picture, the bottom pads of the original transporter were used as the top pads of all the other transporters. This is probably utilizing that or something similar, but they've added those things, and it's not necessary. Technically, it looks kind of cool, as far as being tech related, but I don't think it's needed. It's never been a thing, so that's just, that seems to be a holdover or a carryover from the new Trek.
Someone insisted. Kurtzman walked on and said, "Oh no, all transporters have a thing that comes down from the top," and they're thinking,
yeah,
it doesn't though. But they insisted. It just makes it look messier. Like the clean simplicity of the TNG one is the sex appeal, right? It is tech in its own unique way. Like, that's why Star Wars has Greeblies, because it's so unadvanced they can't hide them. Whereas a Trek ship, everything can be inside a clean, smooth hull, because that's the design comes through versus just this has to be this to function.
As for the beam effect, it's pretty much good too. It's a good progression.
Yeah, it's all good.
So
no complaints. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good room. I hope we see more. Well, we probably will do because they made it. So.
Yeah. So beam into the comments section and tell us your thoughts on this, and be sure to beam into our crew as well. You can click that join button and actually beam aboard one of the ships in our fleet. There you go. If you stay to the end of this video, you'll see the fleet ships, see what ship you could be assigned to, or if you become a captain or admiral, you get your own ship automatically. So please consider doing that.
More of you are joining the channel every single week, so that does change regularly to reflect you guys' amazing contributions. Because without you guys right there, this show would not be still happening. And we're a lot of years in, and that's what is very, very essential. So if you can support, join, be in that, or super chat during any of our lives on any of the topics, from general to very specific, like our giant lives every Friday night, looking at the review, looking at the episode and doing a full deep down, probably the most detailed on the internet, scene by scene. I feel like pretty damn detailed. And edited reviews as well, or breakdowns I should say, like this. Tune them in, tune into them, and super thanks on any of them if you'd like to. It is a super chat, but for pre-recorded stuff, hence it's called a super thanks. You're thanking us in a super way, and we feel grateful. So we can thank you for your thanks of thanking us for our super thanks of thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Stuart, for beaming in.
Thank you, Commander, for everything. So until next time, he is Commander Cockings,
It's Foley.
and we'll be beaming out of here. See you guys later.
Super bye.